Hi, my name's David, and during the day I'm a software engineer and I'm part of the team that writes Site3D, which designs or helps engineers design housing estates, highways, drainage ponds and that kind of thing. But in the evenings, I like to keep myself on top of sort of the new technology that's going around. As you can probably see, I make little robots for competitions like things like Pi Wars, which is sort of non-combative sort of autonomous, semi-autonomous robot competition side of things. But I also like to keep on top of things like VR and got myself a standalone Oculus Quest headset, which allows me to, well, one thing, play games, but two, we can sort of write code for this that will allow me to export out a design from this tool that I'm working with. In fact, actually, let's just show you something here. So here we actually have a model of a sort of a fictitious site here, which has got sort of roads, existing roads, ponds, tanks, everything like that in it. And you can see on the 3D view we have that site sort of shown around. And for engineers who are doing work on this kind of thing, the 3D view is a nice way of sort of verifying what you're looking at and sort of getting an idea of what it would actually look like in real life. Now that's where the VR comes into it, because when you are looking at it on a computer screen, obviously it's a 3D representation of something that is then projected onto a 2D screen that you're then looking at, and then using a mouse to rotate around and pan around and have a look at what you've actually got. With VR, you can actually walk through the entire site. So here I've loaded that site into the VR headset, and you can see as I look down you've got the controllers visible in the actual VR scene, and as you just turn your head you can look around and see what is what. So kind of using the controls here to sort of walk along the footway, but you can even see shadows, you can see the other driveways that are going on here. You can see, take a closer look at the different items by sort of turning your head, look at the pedestrian crossing that you can see here. And this is the power of the VR. You're actually physically inside this design. You can have a closer look at everything that's going along. You can look at the corner blocks, you can look at the speed table ramps like this one here, and just the pedestrian crossings and particular junctions as well. So you can actually stand at the corner of a junction and see how it actually looks and how it will look out on site. And even sort of private driveways, you can see how the buildings will line up down the side of them. And that's the power of VR. I mean, obviously this is only a prototype at this stage, and it's just something I'm looking into in evenings and weekends to sort of progress the knowledge further on into the company and into myself as well. But it does mean that you can put on a fairly cheap standalone device and exhibit your site to a layperson, or you as an engineer you can take a closer look at specific design aspects as if you are out on the site there. Obviously the video only shows a 2D representation of it, but when you're physically sort of with the headset on and you're physically standing there, it really does feel like you're actually walking along the street. You can sort of bend down and have a look at the different aspects and sort of look in between buildings where you might not get that kind of 3D view representation on the in the program, or just on a computer screen. And you can really look at the level differences, and you can say, well, that, you know, looks like a greater difference in levels between plots than I thought it was going to be. Or you can just look at sort of junction visibility, and you can say, well, you know, that building, if I look this way, that building is occluding what I'd like to. I'd like to be able to see it a little bit more. Or you can just get a greater representation of what is happening out on site before it's actually built, with a relatively cheap device and a nice little app to sort of take your designs and put them into it. Anyway, that's where we are with VR, and that's where I'm doing at the moment, and yeah, have fun. Thank you.